this one too.
Yeah. You want the key? No. If you want me, I'll try, but
Yeah.
I don't know why you do, but I'll try it.
Rest
Can
up
you go
along the
without?
way.
Probably about half what the lighthouse is getting. Well, the lighthouse has a general interest. You know, a lot of people are interested in lighthouses. It's a little more specific. It's World War II. And if you have no interest in World War II, you know, that's why I was saying, I don't know if you heard me, a lot of the younger people just want to use it as the stairs, as an amusement. It's a museum. You spend a lot of money setting it up. So come on in, guys.
Okay. They're in. No problem if I take pictures then, right, too.
Do you have security clearance? Yeah,
That's
sure.
a
Take
valid
pictures.
question.
Well, yeah, these days. You know, were you in the Army?
No.
Oh, geez, man, work with me on this. Yeah, it's fine. Take pictures.
Okay.
Take pictures, spread them around.
Okay.
We want people to know about
Oh yeah,
places
it'll
like
be
this.
on my YouTube channel.
Well, it's
For what that's worth.
you know, it's worth something because, as I was telling those folks before, Sydney is about more than just beaches and beer. Don't get me wrong, I love beaches and beer. They're wonderful things. But we got more.
Yeah.
Let's bring it to people. Let's
Yeah.
show it.
Sounds good.
Out of 25.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. So up top today we got Dan. Dan's a historian, so he'll fill you in on a little bit more details. He actually knows stuff. He doesn't make it up like I do.
Okay, cool.
We've been here. I think we've been here, Dan. This is his first time, so.
Welcome.
Who's here for the exercise?
Not me.
That's so good because this is not really a lot of exercise. It's 5 minutes of stairs.
Do we want to hit each level or
Huh?
do we want to hit each level going up?
Yeah, whatever you're doing.
Okay.
It's not air in here. Bob, you have to go up that ladder.
Tell Bobby that's fine. The ladder is a picture of him.
They may not. Whoa.
They'll kick us out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you get up top, you can see the whole way down through it. Take a picture.
It's nice and breezy. This is way, way, way better than the steps
Oh,
at the,
Fred, you've never even been in it.
Well, when we stop there, if you look at it, you'll know why.
Try going in it when it's like 100 degrees on top.
Well, what's pretty amazing, as a mason, I see no cracks in the concrete.
How did they put those indoors in after? They would be demos to us? Oh, they did? Oh.
We got a picture like that of your dad.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, it's where it's lit up in here.
Yeah.
Two ways we can go.
You see it just dripping like this.
More steps to go up.
Can you go your way?
Too many steps.
Coming on people's feet, something hit me in the head.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Charms.
why there was another one.
Yeah, it looks like a big kitchen.
Well, there's a lot of things, you know, but I'm not particularly focused on that one.
Probably so something doesn't go over your hands.
Play with that one. But the one that I found, we've done it for life. So they had another one called Operation Pelican, and you know that one? Yeah, so they were gonna take it, they were gonna transfer, they were having trouble getting the Navy outlet bottleneck, but it, you know, being very great enough, so it was just on surface Navy was much better. And so they were gonna take their material and mine on there, like that was an island, and build an airstrip, and they could wind up moving on the
Oh, hell no.
When you stayed under it,
Yeah, I've been in it
did you go to the top?
twice.
Wow.
The top,
Hop up to the top?
twice.
Oh,
I'm not going up in that little tiny
Well, it
one.
never really materialized. So,
I'll wait for you guys here.
For my first set of people, that's kind of where I was. Delaware Valley Hires. And how about you guys? Where you from?
Question?
Where you from?
Rick.
Oh, you're from Brick? Okay, well, welcome.
Thank you.
And you guys are from?
Salvage, Pennsylvania.
Oh, Southern.
Yeah.
The home of Jamie Moore.
Oh,
yeah.
so you were having me in high school. Our dads were friends when they were kids, and I knew them all.
Oh, no kidding.
Yep.
Yeah.
We used to pass each other in the hallway, and I'd say, "Hi, Jamie,"
Excuse me.
and he'd say, "Hi, Jamie," because that's my name, and it sounded like we were saying
Oh,
something.
so you were around the same age?
Usually you're ahead of me. I was Pennsylvania too. I was Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And our dads are good friends since they were boys. And they go against each, yeah.
Does he come home? No,
Yeah, he was just home. His dad is still alive. He was at Saturday night, and he did a thing at Saturday night. Was it his dad's birthday or something? And he came in and greeted people. It was just in the table a couple weeks ago. I think his mother's passed home, but his dad's still there.
Okay. That's the only thing I know about
Yeah,
Southern.
there you go. He was legendary at Saturday. I cheered for him for basketball. He played golf, basketball, and baseball.
I'm sure he was
But
quite good.
yeah, he was really good.
Well, in this town, we can do that, we can do both, whatever it is you might want.
We've been out there and seen that before, but it's been a number of years since.
Okay, and so if it's been a number of years, you would probably realize it's a lot smaller.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really, really shrunk in the last 10 to 15 years.
That's because it's sunk
In
into
Weathering,
the-
sinking or weathering?
It's probably a little bit of both, mostly
Okay.
weather.
Okay.
So pieces of it will break off, and if you look through the scope there,
Yeah, I did.
if you're looking through that scope, you can see the rib cage of the ship.
Yeah.
Like, so that rebar, and it's the same here, right? It's the
Yeah.
same
Yeah.
construction.
Yeah.
And so, you know, that salt water just keeps eating that, and salt keeps it
Do
concrete
they have a
too.
prediction of how long it'll stay until it disappears completely? Can they predict?
I would guess somebody has a projection, but
Maybe I will
it's
share it with
certainly
you.
not me.
Okay.
Nobody's, yeah, exactly, I'm not in the know.
Yeah.
But, I can tell you, I've been coming here for like 40 years, and it's gotten quite a bit smaller.
Yeah.
Maybe more than 40, maybe myself, but anyway, so the concrete chip's a pretty cool story, and what I think is really undersold around here is the fact that we have a World War I reality and a World War II reality so close together.
Right.
I mean, I don't know this not to be true. I don't know it to be true either, but I bet there's not many places that have
Have both.
in such proximity.
Well, yeah, a few hundred yards.
So it's kind of cool, and I think we should do everything we can to hold that piece where it is, but sadly, it's all about funding, right? You
Yeah.
know?
Oh, yeah.
And so, one day, maybe, I could be up here and there will be no concrete ship, and
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
well, there was, you know, it
Yeah.
loses some of its luster if you can't actually see it. But that's a story for another day when it
Yeah.
happens, I
Yeah,
guess, at least now we have it.
Yeah.
And so ultimately, the concrete ship was a pretty cool idea. Everybody thinks it sunk there, it did not. And so, are you filming me?
Yeah, is that okay?
It's okay, promise not to sell it, right?
No, I'm not selling.
I don't make anything about this presentation, so you.
Me personally. It's me personally.
Okay, so, ultimately, where the concrete ship is concerned, it's, you know, it's some high school classroom. You guys learned about citizen sacrifice, right?
Yeah.
Meatless Mondays and
Right.
Meatless Wednesdays and Heatless Days and Victory Gardens and war bonds and all that stuff, we talk about all that citizen sacrifice, but we don't talk about corporate sacrifice. And so if you're in the shipbuilding industry, what do you do when a moratorium goes on how much steel you can use for the ship? And that's why I always think, like, if you look at that rib cage, that's it for steel. I mean, there's not much in it. I mean,
Right.
obviously the mechanisms of the machinery were
Yeah.
steel,
Yeah.
but the body of the ship was predominantly like this, right? Just concrete. And so, you know, where there's a will, there's a way, and so these guys figured out a way to get concrete to float. I'm told, anybody a math person, any math guy? No, me neither. So we wouldn't build a concrete ship.
Yeah.
But I'm told anything that you can build will float as long as the math's right. And so when you think about it, like, you wouldn't even think steel would float, right?
Yeah.
9 out of 10, I'm actually throwing water that's steel, but it's saying if the math is right, anything will float. So the consortium of businessmen put together a presentation for the Navy, and they said, look, we need to stay in the game. The Navy said, well, if you can do it, they did it, they proved it would work, and they were contracted to build 12 ships. Of those 12 ships, all of them were seaworthy. Everyone thinks that ship sunk. It did not sink. It drifted into the spot that it sits now,
You got stuck.
and it got stuck. Okay, and that'll factor into our story about the tower a little later, but it's an interesting kind of thing. So why is it there, right? And so the first part of that story is it proved seaworthy. The 12 of those ships went over to Europe and brought home archers. They proved unbelievably capable for what they did now. As soon as the steel moratorium lifted, however, companies want to go back to what they know.
Sure.
And concrete is not efficient, okay? They didn't have people in the know as far as labor is concerned. They would have had to train them to repair, and they're not online for that. And then the weight and fuel inefficiency of it made it very impractical. So they drugged them down to Virginia, where they sat for 8 years. From 18 to 26, they sat on mothballs and just kind of, what do we do, what do we do? And if you drive past any naval installation, you see the history of America and war in all these ships, and so that's what they did. They just sat there. But in 1926, an unbelievably interesting young man by the name of Jesse Roosevelt had an idea. He's an entrepreneur, which we would often call a young guy with a good idea and no money.
Right.
And so that's what he was. And so he said, now this is where my imagination doesn't wrap around it, is he said, I'm going to build the first Cape May Lewis ferry in 26. Now, when you think about Cape May and Lewis in 1926, I can't even imagine how many cars were
Yeah.
here versus and Lewis combined, right? But I guess if you were from the South Jersey area, you would have found a way to do it. And you also, I envision the ferry being far smaller in scale and how many cars and all that. So, but he did get his projection out, and he did get these ships for pennies on the dollar. So he took the Atlantis up here, and his theory was to take 3 other ships. So the Atlantis, sister ship down my arm, right? And then take the ferry against the heavy water and dock it and run a pier right out there. I think it's a great idea. I think it would work. You got that weight and mass of that concrete, and if you look out there, it's been sitting out there for 97 years, and it's doing just fine, right? Like, in the whole scheme of things, imagine if it was preserved and maintained and all that kind of stuff, probably would have held up. And so, unfortunately, the Atlantis was the first ship up here, and they tied it off. An unbelievable storm, which is what he was going to protect the ferry against, comes through and pulls it from its moorings, and it drifted into that exact spot that you see. And it's been stuck there.
And they couldn't get it out. Did they try to
Nope.
get it out?
Well, he contacted his investors, and they said that it's a one-shot deal.
Oh,
Right, we only got so much money. Even today, pulling that out of there would be unbelievably expensive, right? So imagine, and that was the mass at the time it went down, right, or came to where it is. So moving it wasn't really feasible, and you would have to run a cable, and you would have to have a deep water vessel how far out? Like, it would have been, or a crane, one of the other, like on land. So it wasn't feasible for them at the time. So